we finally get proper reveals not tied to the Superman movie. Starting with an interesting one, albeit one that is starting to become a bit of a trend for McFarlane, which is that they're taking an awful lot of pre-existing figures and re-releasing them as 2-packs. So we had the Grim Knight and Killer Croc. We had what was another one? The Bat Pod, I guess, the Bat from Dark Knight Rises, the Bat Pod and Batman set. There were a couple of other 2-packs that were also getting re-released that were of pre-existing figures. But here we get one with much better visual quality that I think does look kind of neat, but it's technically still, like I said, a slight reissue, though there's some slight sculpt changes that I think look kind of interesting, and that is a 2-pack of a unmasked, all red, almost Dracula-looking Merciless, and a armored Batman Who Laughs with outfit that's a little different than what he's usually wearing. And I gotta be honest, it looks kind of legit, even though, like I said, part of my brain is still thinking that this is technically a reissue, but there's something kind of dope about the way that Merciless looks, the color clash. Like I said, he reminds me a bit of the Dracula, the Gary Oldman version. And then Batman Who Laughs, I like that his attire is more or less almost completely different, even though some of the tooling might be reutilized from prior existing Batman Who Laughs McFarlane figures that they've done. But the texture looks kind of nice, so I might be keeping an eye on this guy. I also like the turntable, the design of the turntable that they gave him this time around. So yeah, this actually looks kind of dope. I might be down to pick this up. This was the first eyebrow raise of the show so far, to be honest, after all this. Then they showed off some other, I can't remember if they said that they were going to be collector's editions or page puncher. I think they're collector's editions. And, you know, the Superboy I thought looked alright. This looked alright. Interestingly enough, I actually kind of dig this first appearance Wonder Woman. I actually do like the way that she looks. It's got that vintagey feel. Kind of like the first appearance Superman and first appearance Batman and a Max Fleischer Superman. And to pair with her, you have a Steve Trevor. Decent looking. Like I said, I like the vibrancy to it that harkens back to the comics. But the actual affinity to the character, like I said, I'm kind of like whatever's about her. I'm like, I don't really know enough about her, and the suit's not really doing it for me all too much. But again, something a little bit different than what we're used to. But we can't get too different because once again, we got Batman. We got more Batman in the form of a No Man's Land, which sadly I'm hearing is becoming inaccurate again because apparently No Man's... Hold on. Let me look it up. Because people are saying that No Man's Land Batman is technically supposed to be black. If anything, people are probably looking at this shot right here, but you can see the blue shading. Huh. Alright. I thought they got it wrong, but not really. Maybe this shot. Maybe this is the shot that they're looking at. But again, it could be the lighting that they baked into the design of the page. Because over here, it's straight up blue, more or less. This one. But once again, we're using the, what is it, the Nightfall Buck? Nightfall Buck returns with a nylon cape. Head sculpt is looking okay. I'm a little indifferent towards this one. I don't know if I'll pick it up. And I can already tell we're utilizing the same accessories, the same hands, the same batarang. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it speaks to me enough. It's funny because the biggest highlight of this figure right here, it's got to be that utility belt. It's the most unique looking one. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell on that one, to be honest. Then we have, who was this guy again? I mean, he looks cool as far as, like, the sculpting of the body, but I don't know who this character is, if I'm being honest. I like the look of it, though. And then we have a what they really like to refer to a disco Nightwing. Gotta be honest, don't really care for this design. I prefer the Nightfall Nightwing that I already have. And then we have what is it, Mr. Miracle? Mr. Miracle, which actually, I wonder if there's a bit of a conspiracy theory. A Mr. Miracle reveal, which was already showcased at WonderCon with a render, but here's a final, well, not a final product, but like a product reveal. But it's pretty timely considering that 2 days ago, they announced that they're making an animated show of Mr. Miracle with Big Barda. Who as soon as I saw this picture, I showed it to my girlfriend and I was like, hey, you want to cosplay? I mean, come on, man. It's us. But yeah, they're making an animated show. And if McFarlane is making a figure out of him, which I'm not going to lie, looks kind of neat. I like the design of the cape and the way it's held together by these buckles and the belts and the overall construction and tooling of the body. But if they're making him, they got to be making Big Barda, right? They have to make a Big Barda figure. You can't make a Mr. Miracle figure and then not make a Big Barda figure. And then, I gotta be honest, I can't remember who this guy, who's the name of this guy is. He looks cool, but at the same time, like I said, I see some tooling that I've already seen before, specifically these pants and the arms. Speaking of, like I said, getting a little exhausted with the repaints, Night Send Azrael. I like the color clash, but at the same time, I'm gonna have to see him in person, because right now, this is probably, what, the third time we've seen this buck? This is the third time? I'm like, alright, guys. I get it. Like I said, I feel like I'm gonna be buying the figure a third time, only with this color. Somebody said a McDonald's one. And similarly enough, another repaint, the Batwing, of I think Jace Fox Batwing. I could be wrong. I think that might be a different character. But yeah, technically speaking, I also have this guy already. Only it's the all silver one with the yellow fire coming from the back. Now this one does have a cleaner aesthetic with a color scheme that I personally do prefer. But at the end of the day, we are talking about yet another repaint. So time will tell if I'm actually going to be down to want to pick this guy up. He looks cool, but the needle hasn't really moved all that much in that direction. I'll have to sleep on this one.
We got Batman Troika.
Troika?
Of course, got his the longer ears on his cowl. He's got a soft goods cape, wired as well. Claudio, you had something to add?
Yeah, as well, like the extended gauntlet spikes, as well as the ones on his boots are really.
He's
cool.
got spikes on his
Looks
boots.
very, like spot on to the comic. And,
yeah, it's
it
elongated.
really good.
Pointy parts on his
ears
boots and on his gauntlets and on his ears, but then you look at the
fair.
body and I'm like, it's Three Jokers' body again. The Three Jokers with a little bit of hush again, all black. The only upside is, like I said, the head sculpt, like, kind of unique, but otherwise,
Pretty nice. Yeah, it's an awesome looking figure. Okay, so we've got
yeah, like I said, it's getting a little strange to want to get some of these guys. Like this one didn't have, and here's the thing, spoilers, they're really about does it for the stuff that I wanted to showcase, because after that we do get some, I think, page punchers.
but we've got more on the way. And the first up, and Dark Archer. So we have the show, but we're going to show you what's to come from McFarlane Collector Edition. So we have...
Oh, this collector's edition.
And we've got...
So more
Beast
collector's
Boy.
editions,
Another
Beast Boy. I do like the pizza accessory.
Got a snake.
Yes. And the snake piece and
I believe he
the
does
rat.
So you can Mirror Master.
Don't know who this guy is.
I should become... Well, he's a first. Metron in...
Metron.
Oh, yeah.
Using the Nightfall buddy. It's a nice body, but it's a nice body. And I do like the inclusion of the chair.
Okay,
but and then we have a comic Deathstroke, which, if anything, out of this whole set that they revealed here towards the end, this is probably the only guy I look at and go, maybe. It's a big fat maybe, because I do have a pretty strong attachment to Deathstroke. I like Deathstroke as far as like a good chunk of the Batman Rogues Gallery of villains. But in terms of going for this like faithful vintage look with like the bell bottom curling, foldings of the boots and stuff, I don't know. Once again, I know it's sounding kind of repetitive, but time will tell. And that's the thing. After that, they pretty much are done with the show with a little bit of recap. And they never really fully confirm it, but they almost made it pretty much sound like this is their last Toys Show before Comic-Con, which makes kind of sense. We're practically halfway done with June. Before we know it, July is here, and then we have Comic-Con. And it sounds like their next live stream is going to be towards the end of July when Comic-Con takes place. So I'm hoping that we have some bangers coming out towards that event, because you really don't want to leave things hanging with an event like Comic-Con. But at the same time, like, this one didn't really have anything that made me go, yo, kind of like the last show did with that Batmobile. A couple of interesting things here and there, but I had to wait until, like I said, those last 15 minutes. I would probably say that out of everything, it truly was, it truly was that Merciless and Batman Who Laughs 2-pack. This was probably it for me. The big one that I told myself, yeah, I'll probably put down the pre-order for this one. Everything else was kind of like wait and see. Specifically those Batmen, because they really were just retools and repaints. The Batwing, the Night Send Azrael, topical. The No Man's Land Batman, although I do like the color clash, the color scheme utilized for him. And then finally that Troika Batman, where, like I said, the body, I feel like I've already held that before. The only thing about it are the major spikes on the big elongated ears for the much different head sculpt. But outside of that, I was like, starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it again, guys. Starting to feel it now, Mr. Krabs. Overall, it was not bad. In fact, I would lean for it to be considered good. But the one little detail that made me go, uh-oh. Lebowski, where are those Batman Returns figures, Lebowski? Buddy said you're good for it. Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous over the Batman Returns wave, guys. Now I'm getting nervous. The fact that, and granted, I know that it would be a little bit cannibalistic to showcase the Batman Returns wave here when they're already tackling prior existing theatrical deluxe editions, especially since priority dictates that we should probably showcase more of the movie stuff, because you have that movie coming out literally 2 weeks before Comic-Con. But at the same time, no hint of it, at least, no foreshadowing meant of it, at least. And I still, remain steadfast with what I said before, where I truly do feel like it's a licensing thing. I do feel like it's they're still trying to nail down the license. That shit was revealed. I don't know why my brain went to, whoa, was it like, what the hell? Was it Comic-Con last year? No, it was WonderCon. It was back in March. So it's been 3 months. We're coming up on 4. So if they do re-reveal these Batman Returns figures, I honestly feel like their last shot to do so is going to be Comic-Con. If we don't get actual figure prototypes, either in person there on the table like he sometimes likes to show, or at least a turntable shot up on the screen of those Batman Returns figures at Comic-Con, which is still a month and a half out. So by that point, it's going to be 4 months. 4 months since their reveals back in WonderCon. I think that's it, Chief. I really do think that's it.